care, basic, intermediate, and advanced refers to a couple things. One, the level of the spinal and neurological integrity of the person's body. The degree or level of their spinal and neural integrity, how good or bad they are, in terms of how distressed their nerve system, their muscles, their bones are. Secondly, it refers to the type of forces being applied to their body. There's different types of adjustments that we apply in basic, intermediate, and advanced care. And then third, it refers to the person's experience on the table, what they observe and what they're aware of in their body on the table. Because there's different breath, movement, rhythmic awarenesses that happen in basic, intermediate, and advanced care. Now, one of the most fascinating things I think about this personally is this is not arbitrary, and I'm going to go through it in more depth. They did research study at University of California, Irvine Medical School on network spinal analysis, documenting the people's changes for their quality of life. And what happened was, and why this then developed network into levels of care, was that they found that people got the greatest changes in this 2,818 person research study from all around the world, that people had the greatest changes when they had breath waves move through their body and then movement or somatopsychic waves. When they had them in that order was when they had the biggest quality of life changes. When they had them in the reverse order, they had great changes, but they didn't have as complete quality of life changes. So they changed the workaround so people would have the breath wave develop first and the movement develop second, because that was what the research showed. People have the greatest quality of life changes, meaning physical state, emotional state, ability to make life choices, these areas.
You can manipulate that. In other words, you can decide to have those.
We can, the practitioner?
Right.
The type of adjustments.
The type of adjustments.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
We can influence that.
Right, that's what I meant.
Right. So what happened was the work was changed to make that happen in progression. Now, the next part that's fascinating is was that in measuring the wave response and the breath movement response that people have through care, you know the EMG readings that we do on you. We put the sensors on your spine, right, with the different colored bars. They've still doing research studies where they've taken those sensors, that same unit we use, rewired it where they adhere those sensors to the person's body while they're getting care. So a little not permanently adhere, but they're getting worked on, and they have these sensors giving feedback through, taking out the filters. So it looks like, if you picture like a lie detector test with this raw data, and then these mathematicians would take, these chaos mathematicians would take that raw data, because that's what they wanted, to do elaborate mathematical equations that I could not begin to understand. Okay, because I've seen the papers with all these numbers, and quantify the organizational state of the person's body. And they found in basic care to intermediate care to advanced care, the person's nerve system is literally, mathematically, at a higher level of evolution at each level of care. That their nerve system is actually organizing their body at a greater level of complexity in intermediate care than basic care, and advanced care than intermediate care. Which has never been shown on the planet in any human living body other than with network care. And presented at mathematical research functions that none of us would attend. Okay? And published, which is, I think, fascinating. So literally, people move from basic, intermediate to advanced care. They really are upgrading or stepping up their nerve system and its ability to coordinate their body. So basic, intermediate, advanced care, the degree of distress in their nerve system, as it gets more a healthier spine, they move towards advanced care. 2, the types of adjustments applied. 3, the responses the person has on the table. And 4, now, literally, their nerve system organizing at a higher level. and realize your nervous system and brain control all the function in your body. So if it can organize the millions of reactions that are going on every second to a greater level of complexity, that helps you be healthy, helps you have a state of ease rather than have more dis-ease of all the stresses that people's bodies have to handle. So in basic care, what we see often is people walk into our office, their head's one way, their shoulders another, their hips like this, their pelvis is twisted forward, okay? And they have no idea that any of that's going on. Right? Their posture's all distressed, and they have no idea that they've had 10, 20, 30, 40 years of their nerve system having stresses on it, contorting their body. Secondly, often they are not breathing at all. We see no breath coming through a person's body. Living people breathe, dead people don't. Okay, we want to have them more committed to the former than the latter. So when people have more respiration move through their body, the development of the respiratory wave, we literally see breath start in the lumbar spine and move upwards. So the beginning of basic care, we'll see breath just start here. And as we get towards the end of basic care, we're seeing breath go from the bottom of the spine all the way to the top. We call it from C to shining C. We want to see breath go from coccyx to oxford, right, from bottom to top. It doesn't happen all the time, every visit, every contact, but we want to see, by the time basic care ends, at least one or two particular adjustment forces can produce a full respiratory wave through the person's body. Basic care, that level of care, the goal or the strategy we want to install in the person's body or them develop is that they have greater connection. The brain-body can connect to areas that have been alienated, isolated, separated, holding distress, usually their whole life, and walled off, and also are better able to release tension. Think of it this way: subluxation, we talk about subluxations, changes in the alignment of the segments of the spine, putting pressure on the nerves. Sub is less, lux is light, ation, like nation of cells of your body, it's literally less light in your body. Subluxations, less light in your body. As subluxations reduce, you have more light in your body or more life in your body. So what happens is, literally when people are subluxated, their body, their brain's in the dark and the ability to find areas in their spine and release them. So all of this kind of stuff going on, they can't perceive it. You ever see it? I've seen this in tons of different movies. There's a aircraft carrier, or they're looking at the radar screen, there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden there's 20 aircraft that are approaching the enemy aircraft. Where those come from, the fog lifted, whatever. Think of it this way: your bones, your muscles, your ligaments, your discs, you're all inundated with receptors. And they're reporting to the brain like a radar system how much tension they are, where they are in space. But when the lights are out from subluxation and that reporting system's interfered with, it's like your brain is viewing your body through an old black and white staticky TV instead of a plasma TV. It doesn't have a image to what's there accurately. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So as basic care progresses, it's just developing the connection. What we want to do is have your body develop connection, awareness, to be able to see the radar screen, to be clear so we can see what's there. Now there's a couple things experientially that go along for practice members with that. One, often people will say this experience of, we position them on the table and they're like, am I straight now? Like, was I crooked when I was over there and you moved my feet to the center and now I'm straight? Really? This is straight? And I'm like, yes. Well, I feel so crooked now. Because the body's image of straight was that. Mm-hmm. This is why people will have symptoms arise as well during that part of care that are, one area is sore, one area feels freer that it hasn't in a while. There are areas of your body that were on vacation. They were off to Hawaii, now participating, supporting your spine, and now they have to do some work, and you've been gone on vacation and then come back and had to do a lot more work than, before, and you feel it in your body. Your nerve system has to do the same thing. And your body has to be able to learn how to release tension on its own. It has to be able to find the areas and release the areas. All of those are the types of adjustments that do those goals, are very light, quick force applications, like we put a point of pressure you put on a closed eye. brain-body connection, release of tension. And get the breath to move bottom to top because the person's body gets more safety in it.
What's that last?